Once upon a time, in a faraway land over the sea, beyond the very old oven which was falling apart, there was a young master who had a very talkative wife, who was very fond of roaming about with her husband over hills and dales, from the country boundary to the country center, from village to town, from mountain springs to the straits of the sea. Off they went, and they reached the Pietra Niergesh, where they could admire how the morning sun beamed, glittering on the angles of the wooden headboards which were standing there grimly, stubbornly, and persistently. In one breath, they were already at the entrance of the Bikaz Gorge, where they could see breathtaking cliffs, high mountains, and a multitude of naked rocks. "Well, come on, woman. There is so much to see." This is how the man gently urged his young wife, who was on the point of getting tired, but followed her husband more and more curiously. When they arrived at St. Anne Lake, where a volcanic wonder, a fairy tale world, was waiting for them, a lasting sunset accompanied their journey late into the night. In the course of a long walk, they were amazed by the water of Red Lake. Legend has it that its water became red from the blood of the shepherds who were buried by the soil when the lake formed. Through winding serpentines, going further along the valley of rushing streams, they reached the basin of Mercuria Chuk. The wife said to her husband, "When you take a step on this land, my dear husband, you should know that in this place, 1,000 secular girls gather here every year, which are all counted." Naturally, more numerous people turn up here in the mountain saddle of Shumaliuchuk. Primarily, it serves as a place of pilgrimage for thousands and thousands of participants at the annually organized Pentecostal festival. Shumaliuchuk has become a holy place and a meeting place not only for the Hungarians who live in Transylvania, but for all the Christian Hungarians of the world. The Secular Museum of Chuk was on their way, so they stopped and had a look at the exhibitions they could find there. Their next stop was a beautiful village named Satu Mare, where many fabulous handcrafted secular gates are aligned in front of the houses. Walking on the paths marked for tourists, along the hiking trails, our wandering little couple realized what it means to be proud of the beauties given by nature, true wonders and geographical treasures of their nation. In addition to these, there also were the famous buildings, peasant houses, which are part of the secular heritage, from all the lands of Harghita County. After visiting the Hazreju Museum, they also stopped in Lutița village and paid their respects at the monument and memorial house of the Pasopchin fighters. In order to acquire as much knowledge as possible and broaden their horizon, while walking slowly, our loving couple was also guided by libraries and archival collections. They were filled with peace of mind, religious fulfillment, and spiritual treasures in the churches where they prayed with piety. At the same time, they realized that the rumor about the reputation of the church fortress was true. Surprisingly, the Unitarian fortified church from Dujiu in secular land not only has served as a place of prayer as an old sanctuary, but in the defense bastions, the villagers keep their tasty fresh homemade bacon as well. The young man found his greatest joy in the Straw Hats Museum in Krisheny, where he had the opportunity to try the famous large straw hat, but, at his woman's request, bought only a smaller one for himself, as a souvenir. They agreed to return here on another occasion after finishing their housework, which they had postponed due to this long trip. The Secklers are hard-working people who do not postpone their work. But let's mention some of their occupations: charcoal burning, harvesting, gathering hay, growing potatoes, or just spinning and weaving, or even wood carving. They live in a wonderful environment, surrounded by natural and cultural treasures which give Harghita County its fame. So far, it has been as a fairy tale. But be amazed, because every word of our story is true. Whoever doesn't believe it, just get up and find this land, and you will find out that Palinka and secular hospitality are one of a kind.